Hey there, I'm Diego, a designer and Webflow expert, and today I want to talk about those kinds of websites that have like multiple pages, and when you click in one of the links on the pages, you see a page transition, a seamless page transition between both pages. You barely notice that you changed the page because of that animation. Well, you can create that kind of effect as well with Webflow and a few tricks. So today we're going to use the flexibility of Webflow interactions and the power of LottieFiles to create a cool page transition. So let's take a look. Alright, so for this tutorial, I created this Webflow website here. It was a demo, and like I love games, I play games all the time, so I thought it would be fun to try to create a imaginary start screen for a mysterious game called The Maze. I just created this here randomly, just for sake of fun, right? And this is the screen, and let me just refresh so you can see from the beginning. So start screen of the game, The Maze, and you have the start game button, and if you click on the start game button, you should see the menu, like the game menu and the options. All right, so take a look on what happens when I click on the start game. Click here, and then we have this loading transition between both screens. Now I see the game menu screen, but what actually happened here is that we have two pages on Webflow. One of them triggers a interaction once you click on the start game button that takes a Lottie file and plays from 0 to 100%. And then we load the second page, and on the second page we have a page load transition that does the opposite. It loads a lot, it plays the Lottie from 100% to 0%. So it does the opposite. And because of these two things together, it looks like it's a seamless page transition, but it's actually just regular page load between these two pages. So how to create that, I'm going to show you in a minute. But before we dive into details, let's review the plan. So this is more like a 4-step thing, and we start with Figma. So we create the loader design on Figma, and I'm going to show you a trick to grab the thing you created on Figma and move into After Effects very easily, and like with just one click of a button. And then on After Effects, we're going to animate the loader design, and I'm going to show you how to create an animation with the paths and the circles, and how to use that as a mask to reveal the logo. After that, we're going to download a Lottie file, and I'm going to show you how to change basic things on the Lottie file, for example, the color of the logo. And then at the end, we're going to take this Lottie file and we're going to import into Webflow, and then finally create our interactions. Ready? Let's take a look. All right, so this is my Figma file that I created, and simple stuff. I just designed these two screens here to show like how the other screens in Webflow should be designed and built. I already have that. And then I designed this simple logo here for the game, The Maze, and this is our loader. So the design of the loader is very, very simple. It's just a frame, a square frame, that's important. And then we have the logo in the middle, and then it's a black background, but it's actually 6 circles, and all these circles have a very very big stroke. So the stroke is what makes the effect happen. Obviously, well, the background is white, so see, so these are the stroke of the circle. And yeah, this is what we have. Pretty simple stuff. And the idea here is that when we load on After Effects, we're going to take the path of these circles and animate them, and this animation will reveal the logo. And now, how do we move this frame that we have here on Figma into After Effects? Well, we have a few options, and one of the options, for example, is to export this as an SVG, for example, import into Illustrator. On Illustrator, you export it as an EPS or AI for file format, whatever. Then import into After Effects, and then you have the assets there. But like you're using one program just to make the transition between Figma and After Effects. That's not ideal. Another way is exporting this frame as a PDF and then import it into After Effects. You can do that, and then turn the PDF into the shapes inside After Effects so we can use it. That's also possible and doable, but sometimes, for example, when you have objects with stroke, when you take the PDF into After Effects and then expand it to create the shapes, it will actually expand the stroke. So you lose the stroke you configure here on Figma. So I have a better way to do that, and it's a plugin, not an official plugin, but it works perfectly, and it's called AEUX. So these people designed this plugin specifically to just do that. Take the designs you have on a sketch file or a Figma file and move these things without any other things in the middle to After Effects, and keeping all the configurations you have with color, shape, stroke, dimensions, etc. So you have you don't have to waste your time reconfiguring all the elements on your composition. So it does the hard job for you. I'm not gonna dive into details on how you install this, but it's something you install in Figma and on After Effects at the same time. So make sure to take a look into the website, and on the guide you will see how to install this. Okay. All right. So once you have this installed, then here's my After Effects. It's empty. Okay. I don't have anything here. And now let's get back here. And the way you load AEUX is you go to the menu, plugins, development, because install ACE as a development plugin. Then you open AEUX, and then this is what you see. It's a very simple screen. All you have to do is click on the frame, select the frame you want to import into After Effects, and click here, send selection to After Effects. Now you see here 7 layers sent to After Effects, and if we go here we are. This is exactly what I had on Figma. The plugin created a folder for me. I have a composition with the same dimensions. I have all my 6 circles here. All of them have the stroke properly configured, and I have the logo here. So everything here is perfect and ready to animate. And that's it. That's all I have to do on Figma. Now we're going to take this and animate as the loader that we saw on the demo Webflow, right? To do this, I'm going to break this down into 2 compositions. One composition to create a path animation, and the other composition will be responsible to use that animation as a mask to reveal the logo. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, just copy paste here to duplicate, and now I'm going to tweak these compositions here. So I'm going to name this mask, and I'm going to increase the duration of the timeline from 5 seconds to 2 seconds, and I'll keep the background color white because I want to see what's going on that file. And then on the main file, I'm going to do the same here from 5 seconds to 2 seconds, and let's change the color here to something else so we can see the logo, because the logo is white, right? So here on the main composition, maze loader, I'm going to delete all the circles. So we see the logos right here. Now I'm going to open the mask composition, and I'm going to delete the logo. Now we only have the 6 circles, and we want to animate the path. How do we do that in After Effects? It's very simple. All we have to do is we open here the layer details, and then we see this add. All I have to do is add a trim path effect. And the trim path effect is really cool. And if I start moving here the slider, you see the biggest circle is animating the path, right? So that's what we want. And now we're going to create the animation. So we want to start at 0% and then move to 100%. So we're going to activate keyframes here. So I'm going to click here. So we have a keyframe here. Going to move this down to 0%. Now we're going to slide to the end of the timeline, and now we're going to add 100%. And now if I just move here or play, you see the animation happening, right? That's great. So one extra step here. The way the animation happens now, it's linear, so there's no easing here. And I'm not going to dive into details about how to do easing functions or manually setting up easing on After Effects. But there's a simple and quick trick to make this a bit smoother, like adding an easing in out effect. Just have to select the two keyframes here and then F9. Now the shape of the keyframes is different and the animation is a little bit more smooth. Great, so we have our first path animation. Now we need to do the same for all the other 5 circles, but let's not try to redo the same things over and over again. There's an easier way to do that. Let's just select 3 path here, Ctrl C, copy, then select all the 5 circles and paste. Done. So if I move my timeline here, I see that all the 6 circles has the same 3 path animation. Perfect. But it's kind of boring right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the circles to make this animation a little bit more random, right? So let's select all the circles. And now, like, every layer has a huge amount of things you can tweak. For example, on the transforms, you can tweak position, scale, rotation, opacity, a lot of stuff. But we just want to change rotation. And to do that at the same time for all the circles without having to see all of these details, there's a really cool shortcut. Actually, all of those properties, transform properties, have its own shortcut. And to only see rotation, you just need to type R from rotation. And now for all the 6 circles, we see the rotation property. Now what we have to do, I'm just going to move the timeline here to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to deselect everything. And I'm going to start tweaking here randomly, just rotating things manually. Just to make this a little bit different. And great. And now if we play this, awesome. Looks great. That's it. We have our animation for the paths. Now we go back to the main composition. Now it's time to finish our animation here, the loader animation, by creating the review effect here. So what I'm going to do is drag my composition for the mask. I'm going to drag here below the logo, so we have the black background, but we don't have the mask yet. There's multiple ways to create mask effects here on After Effects, but one that I like a lot is TrackMate. So I'm going to duplicate this. Come on. All right, and then I'm going to move here to the top. And TrackMate works in a way that the layer below is the main subject, and then the layer above will act as a mask. So whatever happens here, you can have a composition, another layer animated, whatever. All you have to do is click on None and select the layer above. And now it's hidden. You don't see the logo anymore. But if I start moving here, then there it is. We have our animation. Great. It's done. That's it on After Effects. Now we have to take this and export as a Lottie file. To do that, we're going to go here to Windows, Extensions, and I have a few extensions here. You can use body moving, but I'm going to use the LottieFiles extension. And if you don't know LottieFiles yet, make yourself a favor and take a look into LottieFiles, because it's an amazing resource to create advanced animations for Webflow. Webflow and LottieFiles, they work perfectly and seamlessly together. You don't have to do anything extra for LottieFiles inside Webflow. You just have to drag the Lottie animations into Webflow and it just works, right? So there's tons of Lottie files you can download here, customize the colors and mix and match, and then use on your Webflow website. So it's an amazing resource. Make sure to take a look. Now getting back here to After Effects. So the LottieFiles extension. So we see here our 2 compositions, right? And we want to export this one. So no, sorry, this one. So clicking here, And we see that this is like the end result. And we have two options here. You can upload this to your own account on LottieFiles. This is really helpful if you have a lot of animations on Lottie and want to organize things and have a user interface to tweak, then get feedback from clients. It's really interesting. But today we don't want to use that. All we have to do is download the Lottie. So I'm going to click here and save as a JSON, Lottie JSON file. And that's it. We have our Lottie file. Now, let's do one more step here on Lottie because our logo is white. But if we go back to Figma, just close this, you will see that the logo here is actually this kind of yellow, cream, I don't know. So we want to make the logo look like this on the loader. How do we do that? We use one of the tools available on LottieFiles called Lottie Editor. So the Lottie Editor is really easy to use. All you have to do is take your Lottie file, drag and drop. And this is the editor. Like, it's not an advanced editor as After Effects. Like, the purpose of this is allowing you to do some basic tweaks on your Lottie file. And here we want to change the color of the logo, right? So you see here that the Lottie editor already captured the colors inside my Lottie file and wanted to change the white background to something else. So just copy here the color, here, paste my color, update. Well, yeah, that's it. Now we have our Lottie file. All we have to do is export. Done. So we have our Lottie file ready for the use on our Webflow project. Now let's dive into Webflow. So this is my project on Webflow, right? And we have here two pages, the home page and the game menu page. So what we want to do is add a Lottie file here, configure it to take the whole screen, and then we're going to create interactions when you click on this button and when you load the next page, which is the game menu page. And it's actually very simple, very easy to do that. All you have to do here, go to your media assets, select your Lottie file, drag and drop. So if you mouse over here, you see that the Lottie file is playing. Now, what we need to do is just drag it and drop it right here. And the Lottie file is right here. Let's see if it plays when it's not playing, but that's okay. Because we don't want this to play on page load. Now, what we want to do is to configure the Lottie file to take the whole screen. And I already have a class configured for that called loader. And everything looks good here. Okay, and what this class does is we have configured it to be like 100% of the viewport screen. Then we use position fix to position it on top of everything. Okay, and now what we want to do is to trigger the loader animation. Like, we hide this and we trigger the loader animation when we click on the start game button. So I'm going to select the button. I'm going to create a mouse click interaction. I already have it here, but I'm going to recreate it from scratch. So load in Lottie. Okay. So what we need to do first is we need to hide the loader, so we make sure that it's not showing up on page load. So hide it. We'll make this as the initial state. And now we start playing interaction by showing it again. Okay, so display block. And now we're going to add here a Lottie integration that will play from 0. Sorry, actually the 0% needs to go here as initial state. So it starts at 0. Now that we're going to create another Lottie interaction, the duration will be 2 seconds. Keep it linear. and then move it to, guess what? No, it's not 100%. It's 99%. Don't ask me why, but sometimes when you design a Lottie file on After Effects, export and import to Webflow, if you put this as 100%, it won't play anything. I don't know why, but that's how it works right now. So the trick here is just input 99%. That's actually all you need. Let's play. And yeah, it's happening. Great. Now what happens is that if I go here, click start game, well, it goes to another page. Let me just go back here and remove the link here so you can see the correction. Okay, let's take a look. So if I click, then this is what happens. Cool, right? But as you saw, this will directly move you to the next page if you don't do anything. And what we want here is actually, we want to delay the page load, or interaction here for the animation, the end state from 0 to 100% of the Lottie file. It takes 2 seconds to play, right? So we want to delay the page load by 2 seconds. And to do that, I have a simple snippet here. I'm going to share this on the description of the video. And all it does is it will listen to any click events on a link. It's going to check the link, or the link, right? The URL. And it's going to compare with the origin, meaning that if the link is inside the same website, it will stop the default behavior, which is taking you to the next page, and will set a timeout of 2.1 seconds. This is in milliseconds. And then after that, it will redirect you to the original URL. So it's a simple code snippet, really simple code snippet. Pasting here, sorry, copy, and well, I already have the code snippet right here. Okay, so save, and that's it for the first screen. Now the next screen, which is the game menu, and here what we want to do is trigger a page load interaction once you load a page. So it's the opposite of the interaction we created before. If I publish this right now, let's see what happens. So getting back here to the first screen. So this is our first screen. We just tweak it, and if I click here, start game, have the animation. Oops, sorry, I removed the link, right? Let me just add it back. Going back here, button, page, game menu, publish. All right, so let's get back here. Load this again. And if I click here, we see that it takes 2 seconds to move me to the menu screen. But then suddenly, we just see the menu because it's missing the second part of the seamless transition, right? So let's create it right now. Let's get back here to the first screen. Let's do the second part now. All right, on the game menu screen, we want to create a page load. We already have a page load here for the menu, but we want to create a page load interaction. Going to recreate this from scratch again. Loader out. Lottie. All right, and what we need to do here is we want, again, yeah, I forgot to include the Lottie file here, right? Include here the Lottie. Let's add again the loader class. Now back to, no, this is not the right one. Back to the page load interaction. What you want to do here is just play the Lottie from 90%, which is the initial state, to 0%. All right, so let's see, yeah, that's what we want, but it must be 2 seconds. I'm going to add some delay here to make sure that everything looks properly. Let's do 0.1 seconds. That's probably enough. Okay, so we have our page load out, and let's publish and see what happens. Right, so I am again on the start screen, and I'm going to click here. So flash it a bit, right? Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. If you don't need a Lottie file to create a space transition, then you probably don't need that. But when this kind of stuff happens, there's an extra step you can do here to make the effect being like seamless. And it's a small trick. So what I'm going to do here is create another element here on Webflow. It won't be an embed, since we have here this composition here is a vector, right? Going to add a color here again. Export this as an SVG. Right. Okay, right here. Then I'm going to use SVG OMG, allow this tool to grab the optimized code for this. So I'm going to just drag and drop it here. I'm going to copy everything, and we're going to create an embed and paste the code here. This embed will be above this, and it will be called LoaderBG. I have a class, so this is mostly the same thing as the loader class. Position fixed, line in the middle. And why I include it here as an embed instead of including as an image? Because the image needs to be loaded when you load the page, so it might cause that flick effect. So we embed the SVG here because this is cached inside the HTML of your website, so it will prevent that effect. Let's publish here, but before we need to tweak our loader animation, and what we need to do here is that we need to make the loader BG being displayed initially, and then we hide along with the Lottie play, and then at the end we also hide the loader, and that should be it. So let's publish. Great. Now let's get back here, refresh the page. Now let's try one more time. Start game, and that's it. It's done. We have our seamless page transition working properly. You know now a few tips to make this really seamless. Like I said, sometimes depending on the Lottie file have, or depending if you have Lottie file at all, you might not need this extra step here. But well, it depends on what you need to do for your page transition. So this is just one way to create this page transition, and I hope you like this. And that's all for today. So thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe and activate your notifications, because I will have more of these tips here on my channel. And that's all. Stay tuned.